into this record of events which must so intimately concern us. To return for a moment to my dream. I see a chariot, to which are harnessed 2 stallions. The chariot is richly decorated, even the bosses of the wheels being ornamented with gold. The trappings are of red leather, studded with turquoise. But it is the colour of the horses which is remarkable. They are both black and white, the variation occurring in irregular patches. They appear docile, and stand quietly mouthing their silver bits in the shade of some date palms. I now see a man standing in the chariot, which moves smoothly along a track that I recognise for the one leading eastwards across the desert. The man increases the pace to a gallop, and leans back, with his hair streaming in the wind. Far from being alarmed at the speed, which is surely excessive, considering the increasing roughness of the ground, he appears exultant. A hare, pursued by a jackal, dashes almost under the horse's hoofs. They swerve, and the man is flung from the chariot like a stone from a sling. From the way he is lying, it is certain that his neck is broken. It is only at this stage of the dream that I realise the dead man is myself. The only additional information I could gather from the repetitions of the dream is that the dates on the palm trees, which occur in the first scene, are ready for picking. This is sound evidence that I shall have several months to complete this record. If the chariot should arrive before my task is finished, then the horses will have to be exercised by my charioteer, until I have made arrangements for my final journey. Why do I not take this dream as a warning of an accident which could be easily avoided? Naturally, I could refuse the gift, or the loan, if such it proves to be, of such a conspicuous vehicle. I could take the further precaution of refusing to travel except on foot or in a carrying litter, tedious as this would soon become. Am I then the victim of the illusion that predestination encases us in the future, as though we were helpless as flies mummified in amber? Do I accept as inescapable the fact that I shall die before I am 44, and therefore prefer the swift death to some slower but equally certain one that would pursue me even though I dared not leave my bed? To answer these questions, I ask another. Would any reasonable man be ungrateful if a friend sent a message informing him that it had been decided to send him abroad within a few months? Surely he would be glad of the foreknowledge which gave ample opportunity to leave his affairs in such good order that he could enjoy the vistas of a new horizon without a backward glance. How can I rely on information which comes from an anonymous source? Were I a more competent wearer of the golden sandals, a priest of such authority that he has no need of symbols, then I would be in a position to say, "My wife, Sensen, has sent me a message to tell me that at the time of the date harvest I shall have the felicity of joining her on the other side of the river." Why do I consider Sensen to be the source of my dream? Because during the last 20 years she has constantly advised me, using dreams to convey news to my waking mind which is not sufficiently burnished to reflect her intentions more clearly. I frankly admit that when she died, I became so absorbed in grief that everyone on my estate became affected by my apathy. To kill myself was impractical, for that would have been more likely to turn me into an uneasy ghost than to reunite me with Sensen. I fell into the common heresy of believing that my soul would be more perceptive if my body were subdued. I fasted. I indulged in prodigies of physical endurance. When this failed to produce anything except fantasies, which did not convince even myself during my more rational moments, I went to the other extreme, bemusing my senses with concoctions of poppy juice, until I ignored even the rhythm of the sun's rising and setting. Only the implacable sanity of Mina, who is Sensen's foster-mother, and is still the benign ruler of my household, saved me from a permanent retreat into futility. She treated me as a child who, in spite of its efforts to be hated, remains beloved. She was my only link with reality, for it is impossible